taxi cab. She said, what did I Uber? I said, Uber what? And she said, Uber. You know what you have to do is move your phone. Here, let me show you. Boom, 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 2 seconds later, car pulled up. You can learn a lot from Lance. I'll leave it at that. So thank you very much. What we'd like to do today is talk a little bit about cloud, kind of frame. There's a lot of definitions of cloud. I'll get into that. A little bit talk about cloud and how it's going to impact us as practitioners. There's a strong move towards cloud. You're all probably involved in some way, shape, or form, some facets of the cloud. And the resiliency program may or may not be part of that strategy moving forward. So what we want to do today is have a conversation about kind of what we're seeing in the industry, what some of the challenges are for connecting your resiliency on that train as you take the cloud journey. And then finally, give you some recommendations where we see some additional focus that needs to be made to ensure that your resiliency program is tied very closely to a cloud strategy. So first, I'm not going to get into the details. I'm sure you're mostly familiar with the mechanics of the cloud, but in simple format, it's really a bunch of, someone said yesterday, I was in a session yesterday, what is a cloud? He says it's really a data center. And that's true. Clouds are data centers. They're just managed and run a little bit differently. So if you look at what we've got here, you still have your traditional IT, your core business processing and function. And then there's a various number of clouds that you can potentially connect to. You've got a private cloud. Private cloud can be local in nature or it could be remote in a service provider. Then you've got public clouds that either have the ability to provide software as a service or some form of service that we manage. And then you've also got dedicated clouds that are for you in a public environment. So what I wanted to do is just ask a quick question. How many folks here, and I'm sure I know the answer, but how many folks here today in your organizations are moving in a direction associated with cloud? It's pretty widespread. Now, as resiliency practitioners, how many of you are confident you're keeping up pace with the move to cloud and you'll be able to cover that cloud today and going forward? Yeah, that's why we're here. That's kind of why we're here. Yeah, it's kind of scary. I'll even make it a little bit scarier as I go through and show you some of the why I think it's scary. So, to back up what we just said, a quote here from McKinsey Research, 94% of enterprises have multiple clouds, mixing public, private, dedicated, and countless SAS applications. So the direction's that way. Just having been a bit senior, I go back to 1989, 1990. I was a mainframe systems programmer, and probably still could be a mainframe systems programmer. But my boss came to me, I was in the consulting world, my boss came to me and said, hey, look, you really need to jump on board with this client server stuff because in 2 years the mainframe's going to be gone. And you really need to get on board. Deja vu forward. Everything in the cloud is going to move to the cloud. The mainframe's going to be gone in 2 years. I got a feeling I'm going to be retired and playing golf and doing something else when the mainframe's still going to be chugging along. So, the point I want to make here is that clients are in various stages. It's not going to be a hot cutover. I'm running in traditional today, and I'm going to move to a cloud environment tomorrow. It's going to be a gradual progression. And that's what we're going to actually talk about, what a hybrid cloud is and how you get there. But if you think about it, many enterprises have already deployed cloud capabilities, cloud functions internally, and are leveraging cloud infrastructures. In addition to that, they're in the process of where appropriate, where they find the right mix of application workloads, migrating systems and applications and data into various clouds, be it public or private. In addition to that, the public cloud services, it was interesting that everything was public cloud, and when not enough folks were moving fast enough, the public cloud vendors actually said, you know what, we've got these nice kits of our technology capability. I'd like we gave you these, we pick them up, we package them, and we let them drop them in your local on-premise environment. So you now have cloud capability in your local environment. You manage the security, you have control, you manage the access. You don't have to worry about the issues that you're concerned with, so you can run actually a public cloud-like capability in your own private infrastructure and environment. We're seeing that. And then finally, there are enterprises that continue to run traditional workloads, and they're going to continue to run in their own data centers, primarily because they're not conducive to cloud. They may be running on older technologies. When I say older, they're running on physical technologies, such as mainframes or power systems or physical boxes that are not conducive to virtualization. So they're going to stay there. And the question is, how do I then take that, where I'm running my core applications on-premise in a traditional environment, and link that to things I'm starting to put out in the cloud? And that's where the challenge starts. Just one last thing I'll say on that previous slide. It's a pretty safe bet to say that everyone on this journey is doing things a little differently relative to the paths that they're taking, the speed that they're executing, the designs and the tools that they're deploying, and then obviously the end result that they're looking for, where they're going to get it. Actually, everyone is different. No one's the same. I'd like to just give you a little perspective, a historical perspective from my standpoint, relative to the cloud conversation. Back in 1998, I was running our consulting practice, and what we did, on a yearly basis, we would go into a client location, and we'd do a strategy session with them. And we'd say, we'll come in and take a look at what you've got today, we'll take a look at where we're moving forward, and based on that, we'd like to be able to help you with the future design and see how we can, move the ball forward. And I was asked to go in to talk with a managing director at a Big Four consulting firm. And these guys get it, right? They're probably as sophisticated as they get. They had a great program. So we sat down, and the gentleman across from me asked me a question. He said, "We're thinking about moving to the cloud. What is IBM going to do from the DR perspective to help us get there?" And I kind of looked at it for a second, and I said, "I'm not sure I can understand that question." He's a little taken aback. He said, "Wait a minute, you're a DR guy. How can you not understand that question? It's a pretty simple question." I said, "I don't understand what you mean by cloud." And he kind of sat back and hand on the chin like a typical managing director at a consulting firm, and he says, "I'm not sure either." He said, "I'm not sure what I mean either." I said, "Okay, well, let's take this journey and talk about that and figure out what you mean by cloud, and then we can kind of begin." Now, fast forward 2019, next week, my colleague who I'm going to introduce in a few minutes is we're going out to talk to a large hospital. Very big, if you know what Epic is like an ERP application for hospitals. Very large Epic implementation that very sophisticated, and a lot of ancillary systems that are not in Epic that are traditional based. They're physical based, and I don't think they're mainframe, but physical based around it. And they want to look at the DR strategy while they're moving to cloud. So a perfect opportunity for us to have that same question. What do you mean by cloud? What's your strategy? Where are you headed with it? Now, okay, let's link with you and take the journey together and define resiliency in the fabric of the design for the cloud. And so we're going to get this done. Try to do it as a retrofit, rapid fit, pile on, it's going to be ready for the cloud. Like that. So if we look at the hybrid cloud, I'm going to screen up here. If you look at the hybrid cloud, there's a bunch of key components that make up this environment. And kind of simplistic view, you've got the enterprise, which really is the core processing. It's the basic traditional processing. And one thing I'll share a pet peeve, people call it legacy. And legacy, you look up the definition in the dictionary for legacy, it basically says something along the lines of obsolete or end of life or out of gas type thing. And if I look at some of the technologies that are being deployed today in an enterprise environment, they're far from out of gas and obsolete. If you look at new processors in there being able to run multiple and thousands of links, images, or if you look at some of the technologies, the flash copy, and the ability to be able to then connect it and kind of offload the traditional spinning disk to faster disks to be able to get you better speed, better performance. That's all in the traditional data centers, so far from being legacy outdated. So they're going to be around. The enterprise production is going to be around. Now, if you add to that, you've got your two functions of cloud. You've got your on-premise, which is locally installed hardware on your premise, connected probably via LAN, that allows you to leverage the capabilities of the cloud. Things like VMware, or provisioning, and fast and scalability, scale up, scale down. But you're doing it locally. You're doing it locally on-prem for a number of reasons. There may be a security concern, but you want to keep it in tight. You may want to retain control. You've got application chatter, which two applications need to talk to each other within a certain period of time. So you've got application chatter and latency that says, I can't really push this thing over a LAN 100 miles away, it has to be local. So now I've got, then you've got data consistency. I've got consistent data that these applications are sharing. So I have to have a cloud local to be able to process and keep my applications running. In addition to that, I've got some workloads that are more autonomous in nature. I can't pick them up. I can move them a greater distance. They can run the site, set the site in a cloud provider facility, and I can access them because they're not critical to the process of performance, but they are critical to the business. So I still need them in the picture. So we've got off-site now. Multi-tenant is one of the big things there. In the cloud, you tend to have technology and resources that is multi-tenant, multiple clients, leveraging technology, and that's how they need to lower the price point for the resources. In addition, we see partner service providers that basically external entities that are providing services that are either cheaper or something that you need that you don't have, you don't want to develop in-house, and you reach out, you've got external partners that you're dealing with, and you need that obviously to run your business. Think of your B2B, your business to business, and your B2C, your business to consumer. You've got those kind of functions that are outside of your traditional data center. And then for all of this, you obviously have network access, point-to-point for certain things, and then you've got the cloud exchange, where you need access into the clouds and into the traditionals and vice versa. So you need a different kind of network connection that allows you greater real-time connectivity and support. So if I take, the reason I want to go through this at a high level is I want to show you what's happening and how this is getting complex. So if we start with, you look at traditional enterprise production data centers. You may have one data center, you may have a couple of data centers, and you have probably a disaster recovery center. So this is traditional disaster recovery 101, where I'm backing out to a DR site. When a DR site goes down, I move production to that DR site. If I have a second data center, I need the ability to connect back. So with that, I've got connectivity. It tends to be for replication, tends to be a point-to-point type thing. I'm replicating this from my production data center into the DR center. Then I've also got an MPLS, which is connectivity of cloud-like network connectivity for user access that actually can get me from any one of these sites. So if I were to run in the top enterprise data center and it were to go out, I would flip over to my DR center, run there, and then I would still have direct connectivity back to my secondary data center. And I still have MPLS connectivity, so my users would just instead of going into the primary data center, come back out. My DR will work. Everything's fine. This is what we've been doing for years. To that, I now add my service providers. So I add a little bit more complexity in the sense that now if my data center goes out, I have to now add a link back and be able to bring my service providers back online. I'm starting to get a little bit more moving parts in the equation for disaster recovery. I then decide I'm going to put an on-premise cloud in place. So I have an on-premise cloud, which is going to be co-located probably in the same vicinity or the same campus as my production data center. But I now have a different set of technology and a different set of requirements. I still have to be able to put this all in the same picture. So now my upper left goes away. I lose my enterprise production center or I lose my on-premise private cloud. And I now have to shift to my DR site. And I still have to connect that all back. I still have to figure out how to do that. Be able to coordinate that with these two little things that we know of as RTO and RPO, right? Minor details here. That we able to bring that all back. You have to do it within a certain time. The data has to be consistent when you do that. So then finally, I'm going to move out and say, okay, now I'm also going to start putting some off-premise public clouds into the mix. So now I've got more moving parts. I've got more points of presence that I have to put in. And then from that, I'm going to put cloud exchange in. I'm going to have a secondary network where I can turn this all together. I think you can see where I'm going with this. And I think through this, and I think through, okay, simple DR, one for one. Now it's many to many. My head hurts when I think about this. How do I do resiliency? How do I put this all together? How do I make this work? Not a simple competition here. And this is a good, we were talking last night, this is a good slide when you're ready for a raise. You take it to your boss and you say, this is what I gotta do. And it's just me, help. So, the other thing that's happening, interesting thing that's happening, is not only the cloud coming in and providing or challenging us with how we're going to manage and move to resiliency, but resiliency itself is changing. If you think about the basis of resiliency, we've got high availability or backup, basically continuous operations locally, keep everything up at 5 nines service levels. I want to keep everything up all the time. I don't want to have any business interruption. But I also have to have a mechanism to back up my data. In case I lose that, I have to have a place where I have backup so I can bring the backups back to my business. And you start with HA, and with HA, tightly aligned with that is the DR strategy. I mean, HA is local in region to be able to keep everything in sync, given latency and given timings of the technology. But now I need to have something out of region in case I have a localized failure. Localized failure, I want to be able to go out of region. So now I have to have my DR, or if I have a catastrophic event or even a minor event, I can now take my operations, my production operations, and I can move to a remote site. I can bring it up and I can run out of the remote site. And it's basic measurements, and that's managed for really the metrics for that recovery time, how quickly I can do it, the recovery point, how much data I can save, or said differently, how much data loss I can have. So I have my DR, I have my HA. Both of them tend to be business and IT focused. And by that I mean the business provides the requirements. I need my uptime in this amount of service levels, and I need my RPO, recovery time in these amounts. And they're business-led, driven to IT, developed, and designed to be able to meet that. Now you enter in something that's come up in recent years, this little thing called cyber recovery. Cyber recovery is a little different in the sense that it's an attack on your system. It may not be on your entire system. It may be at a device level. It may be at a system level. It may be at an application level. It may be at a data level. But it's a little different in form in the sense that it doesn't require, it may or may not require a full recovery. But depending upon the timing of the event and the attack, I may have just rendered my DR and HA capabilities invalid because the bug was in one and I transferred it to the other, because I'm trying to keep a really low RPO. And with a low RPO, I'm basically trying to keep everything in sync. So as soon as it happens here, within 10 minutes, it's over here. So now I basically, most sites are shot. I don't have anything. So the way cyber works is you now need to be able to do periodic snapshots to collect point in time recovery, point in time clean states that you can then roll back to. And that's very different. I had a conversation with a large pharmaceutical company. One of the big pharmas got an attack, a big attack a big cyber attack. And when they did, this pharmaceutical company I went to work with, who I went to talk to, was concerned. So they said, well, we're just going to use our DR strategy. So I just went through the conversation we had here. If you do that, it's propagated there. You need tertiary. So if you have a tertiary copy, let's say you made a clean copy every 4 hours. Pick it on 4 hours later, right? We use 4 hours. Every 4 hours right now, we push it over, and in 4 hours I got a clean copy, so when it hits, I have 4 hours to figure it out until I get to my clean copy, my first clean copy. I was using to keep multiples. And he said, that's a great idea. He said, well, if I do that, he said, I don't need DR. I said, well, technically you don't, but you just move your RPO from 15 minutes to 4 hours. I said, so you can do that, but you can talk to businesses before you do that. So I guess at the end of the day, we came up to the realization that you need both. So now we're talking about cloud, we're talking about the complexities of the different endpoints of all the cloud, and now we also have to change resiliency a little bit to add cyber to bring all this together. So it gets a little bit scary relative to how we're going to make all this happen. The last thing I'll say on cyber is it tends to be more of a corporate risk function, leading that, saying, hey, this is our issue, this is our stance on cyber, what are you doing? And then it gets propagated down to the business and IT. What are my requirements for my capabilities so I can build a solution? What I'd like to do now is, what we've done is we've picked 4 key areas that we think are where to start. There's probably many more, but these 4 areas are a good place to start relative to understanding what your challenges are and then where are some recommendations that we see moving forward. The areas, hybrid operations, we talked about that, the complexity and trying to manage that. Addressing risk, obviously, it's our job to address risk and be able to make sure that whatever resiliency program is in place is both regulatory and internal audit compliant. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The ability to manage resources in a cloud environment with virtual resources and quick provisioning of resources. You need to make sure you have resources on hand that meet and will meet and address your recovery capability. And then finally, safeguarding the business. We talk about cyber, we talk about coverage objectives. But at this point, what I'd like to do, I'd like to introduce Mark Reed. Mark is one of my colleagues. Mark is a senior cloud architect that he has spent a lot of time actually building clouds in the federal government as well as in the commercial sector. And he also has been involved with a number of technology companies, both disk-based and server-based technologies. He really gets it. The reason I brought him up here is, 1, I'm going to go through the challenges. He's going to come back and tell you what we'll recommend you. And 2, if you have any hard questions, he's your guy. So the first area I want to talk about is complexity. You saw that with all the various lines and circles and things, the complexity is certainly increasing. So the 3 challenges, major challenges that we're looking at are basically the data placement movement across multiple geographies. We're also looking at the public as being a multi-tenant environment versus dedicated solely to you. And then finally, the issue of regulatory compliance. And what am I doing to make sure I'm in line with that? Mark?
All right, so one of the keys to solving this problem Joe touched on is you must be involved in your journey to the cloud discussion of your business. You cannot simply assume, hey, when I get to the cloud, it's going to be the same exact infrastructure that it was prior to my journey to the cloud. Proper skill sets. Believe it or not, the cloud is not exactly the same as what you're used to on-prem. Sometimes you need skill sets that just don't exist in your current environment. You've been humming along for 10 years, and Jimmy knows what he's doing, and Ann knows what she's doing. But then you get into the cloud, and a lot of people don't understand what that infrastructure is like in the cloud. It's a pretty bare bones if you're dealing with the big cloud providers. And it's up to you to recreate a lot of the management tools in order to see what's going on. And then how are you going to integrate that back into your resiliency efforts? Again, business process alignment. A lot of things I see in the cloud is there's a lot of acquiescence to security. There's a lot of acquiescence to RPO, RTO. It's, well, I'm in the cloud, I don't know how to figure it out, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to accept that there's something that's not going to work in the cloud the same way it worked when it was secure and I had total control on-prem. Well, what does that mean for resiliency? So, can I do what I did before? Maybe not. That's a business conversation that you need to have. So you need to make sure the business is aligned with your resiliency processes. Advanced technologies. You know, look, I'm a nerd. You know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I'm a geek. You know, and we're always there. I gotta have this new tool. I gotta have this tool. Well, you've probably seen some new tools that you shouldn't have. And you really do need to investigate these tools because you're not just looking at one site, you're looking at multiple sites. And as I said, you know, a cloud provider's IaaS, you know, they manage the infrastructure. So a lot of people get out there, they put their servers on, hey, I'm in the cloud. Well, how do I manage that? Well, how do I get feedback? How do I declare a disaster?
So keeping on the theme of the hybrid operations, the need for orchestration, just the complexity alone and the multiple piece parts require a little bit more than 10 people trying to execute manual scripts. Not going to work. The speed's not going to be there, and those people are probably not going to stick around. In my opinion, from what I've seen. But the challenges are the maintaining uniformity across all of these multiple environments. Obviously, security is a major focus area. The speed to response, we still have to remember at the end of the day, we're doing resiliency to meet objectives that are business objectives tied to dollars lost in business loss. We have to be very focused on that. And then finally, the ability to roll back, roll forward or roll back after an outage has occurred.
So, orchestration is probably one of the single most important topics out there. Your ability to see across multiple environments and to manage multiple environments requires a form of orchestration, however, whatever tool you decide to use. How do you ensure that you have consistent security policies if you can't change multiple environments at once? Because remember, one disaster in, say, the cloud may impact what you do on site. So if you roll back externally, you may have to roll back internally. How do you coordinate that recovery? What if you change your code base or your database level as part of this strategy, or you roll back some transactions and you still have a business partner out there? How do you make that change with them? So orchestration, the ability to see and manage in multiple environments. There's a lot of tools out there, some better than others. To me, I do not know how you would be able to do it without an orchestration tool.
Okay, the next area I want to look at more in the risk area is geographic diversity. Obviously, when you move things around, you start to separate things apart. You've got application latencies that you have to make sure you take into consideration, as well as consistent data, the access to data that is consistent. Business and regulatory guidance are obviously going to drive a lot of this, as well as the decision. Let me just take a step on that, business and regulatory guidance. I'll take a real quick experience. I was working with one of the largest financial firms in the world, and they decided 2 years ago they were going to cloud. They were going to move everything to cloud. And they went down the path. They spent about the first 6 months, they had everything in there, and then they went back to their business. And they said, okay, this is our plan, this is our strategy, this is what we're doing. So they said, okay, well, we're still maintaining out of region geographic diversity, right? And the CIO was talking with me. He said that we went back and we found out, Mark's going to talk a little bit about high availability zones versus cross region zones. And they found out they weren't. There were actually high availability zones within a region, within 50 miles of each other, where the regulatory compliance, anyone in finance probably knows, recommend roughly 250 to 300 at minimum based on your business risk propensity profile. If you don't go there, you've got to have a lot of paperwork, a lot of justification why you didn't do that. So he basically pulled back, and he's actually working, to their credit, the cloud provider is working with them specifically to determine how they can get from local availability to cross region, and they're actually pushing that forward. That's an instance where the business and regulatory guidance really needs to be thought out well before embarking down the journey. So, Mark, I think Steve wanted to
Okay, so one of the key things we see is, and I've seen this a lot, is part of this move application chatter. Some applications just they need to talk to each other. They're lonely, dependent on Hyperion, and there's all these apps out there I've run across, and a lot of times it's a setting that can be fixed. Sometimes it's not. So you need to be aware as you're in the zone, as your application is moving around, depending on where you place it, what its tolerance for that movement is. Again, your risk profile is impacted by this. You have to explain to your management, I cannot move this series applications from site A to site B unless it's more than 10 or under 10 miles. So it gets back to my initial comment where I said sometimes this is what you got, and you have to go back to the business and your plans change. In region versus cross region. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. When you think about the cloud, the evolution of the cloud, and I'm not a cloud basher, I'm all for it. But where's my stuff, right? Everybody, where is my stuff? I don't know, it's in the cloud, right? It's in the cloud. I don't know where it is. Where's my photos from my phone? It's in the cloud. They even made a movie about that. And people run around hacking up servers, and it's somewhere in the cloud. Well, here's the downside of that. Somebody realized they may all be in the same rack. So they came out with these HA zones. They said, well, we can't really fail you over. A lot of these large cloud providers, they don't have this advanced on-prem failover. Machine goes down, your stuff goes down. Machine goes down, it goes down. And the way you deal with HA internal inside that data center is you put everything, behind a load balancer, 10 machines, and you hope they're all spread out. Something happens to a row or a rack and your stuff is there, well, let's move it over to this other data center, it's only 10 miles away. Keyword there is HA. That's not resiliency, that's not DR, that's high availability. It's the same truck that ran into the power supply, the same hurricane that, came out of nowhere. I think I live up in DC, anybody else live out in DC view? We had, and that town out there in Maryland that's had like, what, 3 500-year floods already? I mean, just 16 feet of water. It's all in the same area. So it's HA. It's not cross-region. I don't know what your regulatory commitments are. You need to look into those. But you also need to understand, it really, I'm not bashing the providers. I just happen to know because I live up there. They are literally 10 miles apart. There are stones throw away from each other, and that's not very resilient.
The interesting thing on that is a lot of times what you hear is, oh, well, in the cloud, we can move your data to another cloud. We have the functionality and capability to move your data from anywhere you want in the cloud. All right, I've had a disaster, that's too late to move the data. Because, the way we design resiliency is we have it prior to a disaster. So it's there. To be able to push it after the fact is I started seeing how to figure that one out. All right, next we'd like to talk a little bit about security. We're going to start talking about risk. The second piece of it is security, and that's probably, if not, it probably is the number one concern, at least what I've seen and I've read regarding the cloud. The fact that you're taking your family jewels and putting it in an external site, and then someone else has access to it and manages it. The 3 areas I think resiliency and security must be tightly coupled. And I think one of my colleagues actually showed me yesterday there was an article in the New York Times that was specifically focused on the security and who owns security in the cloud. I think it was pretty interesting, the fact that it's made in the New York Times and it's something that people are actually talking about. Second thing is, the last thing is on-premise remains probably a more secure choice for obvious reasons. You have it in control, you maintain, you own access, you own who's in the hotel.
So, how do you deal with security, with resiliency? This slide talks about the need and what we're going to do from a technology perspective. But the reality is, you need to invite your security counterpart to the next DRJ. Not because we want the numbers, but because you two are now tied at the hip in the world of cyber. And the reason that is because if a cyber threat takes down the front end in the cloud, I've just taken your entire app down. At what point is that a disaster? At what point is there a difference between a cyber attack, a cyber threat, and a physical disaster that when you want to declare a DR? Who makes that call? Who flips the sites? Who flips what version of code I'm running from A back down to B? Who makes that decision? So what you're starting to see is what we saw as technologists. I used to run Windows guy. Good to go. I knew IIS, I knew how to do Active Directory, I knew how to do a file server. I was a Windows guy. And over the course of time, I've learned a lot more than Windows. But the average person who comes in today has to learn his hypervisor of Windows, a little bit of Linux, he has to understand networking, he's got a firewall, he's got a firewall on a laptop, right? Well, that's what's happening in the resiliency sphere as well. It's a tight integration between all the other business lines, all the other technical lines, because you can't make that decision on your own, neither can they. Linkage between recovery and identification. What threat am I dealing with? The security guys know. They know what's coming out there. Sometimes they can watch it. There's some tools out there where you can see viruses migrating from Europe over to America. So if they're not talking to you and you're not talking to them, how are you preparing for that disaster that could be a cyber threat? Security places a very strong workload placement. And the reason is, if my data is on-prem and I have to secure my data for security reasons, then I can't move it into the cloud. Now we get back into that scenario where I move part of it into the cloud, I have B2B customers, and that's driven by security. It's not necessarily driven by RTO, because you can do some wonderful things in the cloud. I don't want to make anybody think that the cloud is not a good place to be. There's very rapid deployments. You can deploy servers as part of your resiliency program. And part of it might be, well, I'll just flip up 1,000 servers over an image over on the other side of town. Okay, there it is. So there's a lot of good stuff. But security is the one who's really going to have to decide what can go into the cloud, not just from perspective of performance and what can run, or I want it close to me so I can sleep at night, because I might not be able to recover it fast enough in the cloud.
Hey, next we want to talk a little bit about adequate capacity. We're moving into the managed resources item we talked about. And basically the challenges are the resources have 100% production capacity. As you know, if you're an old timer in disaster recovery, you remember the syndicated model, or what we used to call the subscription model, where you had the vendors had a limited amount of capacity, or had a good amount of capacity, but if everybody declared it was first come, first served, you wanted to be first in, and if you ran out, then you had to wait a little bit. Well, clouds are the same way. They don't have just a lot of capacity, they have overhead. And they have overhead for production, scaling, and then mixing that now with disaster recovery. So if you get to, for example, a Black Friday, and all the retail vendors want additional capacity to drive up, and they suck up all the capacity that's on the floor, and you have to have a disaster, what happens? You get your resources. Don't know. So it's something to think about where that's coming from. But, so when you do it, you want a commitment that you have 100%. I think they still permit it. But you want 100% production capacity. The second thing is you want to be able to scale. Everybody looks at a disaster recovery from a testing perspective. I need enough capacity to run a test. Let me tell you, just from experience, having probably been involved in hundreds of recoveries, people say you don't need 100% capacity, you can have 80% capacity, 50% capacity. I'll tell you that when you declare, you need 125% capacity because you're running jobs to recover, quick as you can, and then as soon as you get to a point where you bring a system up, the users are bombarding it with 5 days or 3 days back, so now the utilization is going, you're still trying to recover. It takes a week to get down to the point where you're actually at your capacity level. So you want to be able to make sure that during a disaster and extended stay, you're able to scale. And then finally, compatibility. You want to make sure that the hardware that you're getting is compatible to what you need in your environment.
Right, so the truth is when you're dealing with a lot of big players, there's nothing to understand. I was amazed that Amazon made all this money and they basically said, we're not going to guarantee you anything. So you're on your own, right? I mean, that's a true statement. So smaller cloud companies, you may have a little bit of leeway. 4:42 2 days ago, my kid called me. 4:42 a.m. this time. Yeah, my kid called me. And the reason he called me is because there's a new launch of a video game. And you can't get in, and he was like, Dad, what's going on? A video game in the cloud, right? So what happened? It was launch day, and a bunch of people went in, and they overwhelmed the servers. It sounds funny, but it is what it is in the larger cloud environments. There is no guarantee that you're going to get back to capacity. Now, in all fairness, you probably will be fine. Unless you're a huge mega company and you need to spin up 10,000 VMs, you're probably going to be fine. But you do need to be aware that there are those peak usage periods, and it is Murphy's Law. So you have to have a backup contingency plan for that. One way around that is to do it early, do it often. But cloud a lot of the hardware is on a 5-year plan, right? So you don't even know what you're doing. You may think you're getting state of the art. That hardware might be 5 years old, it might be yesterday. You have no idea. Frequently review your service agreements because they change. I'm a cloud provider, especially if I'm a small cloud provider. I've seen them, come and go. I've seen them be purchased, right? I mean, I full disclosure, I got purchased by some big blue company. Out of the blue, I was working for one company. Next thing you know, out of the blue, I'm working for another company. It happens, and then all our SLAs get reviewed and go back to your customer. So make sure you're aware of what's going on with your cloud provider.
Okay, the last area I want to talk about is actually this is still in the resource area, is performance. When you're in recovery, you want to make sure that the resources you're getting are going to give you what you need to run your business, not just to test that you are. So with that, you want to deliver, you want to ensure that you're getting equivalent or greater performance from the hardware, from the technology. You want to be able to ensure that you're sizing to meet your application needs. And finally, you want to be able to scale during extended events. So point being, you're there, you're running, now I'm going to run there for the next 6 weeks. I want to be able to have the scalability that I have in production from my provider in disaster recovery as well.
All right, so this one's really, really interesting. Everybody's been in that room and heard, full disclosure, I was one of the storage guy. Oh, it's fine. Latency's fine. It's not me. Network guys like, it's not me, man. I'm in submicron. Server guys, I can breathe tonight. It's got to be the average. Everybody's seen it, right? We've all heard or seen these conversations. Here's the reality. Is my user happy? 5-second rule. Couldn't buy it on Amazon. I'm moving off to Newegg. Couldn't get it on Newegg. I'm moving off to Lord knows where else. Uber and Lyft, they have an issue. Their app is down. I need a car. I don't care. It's raining and I want to go home, and I probably had one too many. That doesn't. So here's the good news. You don't have to hear your storage guy argue with your network guy anymore, because all you really care about is that your app work, and that is the key metric, and that may not exist. All those tools over the last 20 years, they're great. Oh, I can see them. I know what's going on in my proc. I can see where my proc handed off the RAM. I got this model. I'm hitting SSDs. My cache ratio. Okay. And I thought texting. We don't care anymore. That's what drives everybody to the cloud, right? We're all sick of those conversations. I just want to hear anymore. But then you have to be able to say, as part of a disaster, this part is not working. Why is it not working? My orders are not getting through to the warehouse. It's taking 4 hours to get an order. This is a disaster. I can't get my orders out the door, right? Everybody talk about some of these stories. We all heard about what happened to Hershey, right? They upgraded at the wrong time, 90% of their sales. Classic. We really screwed the pooch on this one, and then, hey, new owner, moving on. Well, resources configured as close to production as possible. Again, this is very difficult in the cloud. So if you're failing over to another site, talk to your cloud provider. Is site B older? Does it have the same equipment? Press them. They won't give you a tour, but press them. And then get a reference. Get something in writing that says site B has the same equipment as site A. And if it doesn't, plan for that. Maybe any of them down on the price too, if you can. If you're dealing with small, like I said, big guys, good luck. Nobody negotiates with Amazon. Nobody negotiates with Microsoft. They're just going to give you that stuff. But if you're dealing with a smaller cloud provider, by all means, get a service level agreement in place. Get some sort of commitment from them that they're able to maintain your environment when you need them to. And make sure, Joseph, make sure there's penalties.
Gotta have some skin in the game or why bother, right? Let's talk a little bit about safeguarding the business. Well, we touched on cyber resiliency, and I think it's some of the challenges are in the past we always looked at system level type focus, system level recovery focus, but we're starting to see in implications of really people taking it down to the next level. Is anyone in here actually doing cyber testing or cyber analysis on platform and actually down to the machine code? Like going into a machine and blowing out the brains of the machine or the firmware of the machine. Anyone here? Anyone? So I'm actually working with a very advanced financial services company that is asking us to build them a lab, technology lab. They can go read up the technology and make the technology nothing but boat anchors, and then have the technicians come back in and reload the brains of the machine. That's how deep they're going, rather than just looking at. And then of course the configuration models going in, blowing out Active Directory, blowing out some of the configuration files and so forth. So that's a challenge. Is you have the hardware level and you have the configuration level, and then maintenance and testing hygiene. You have to ensure that the maintenance you're doing, both from security and resiliency perspective, is up to date, and then you're testing that and validating that you're in good shape. And then finally, the point in time data copy, which I referenced tomorrow, we'll get into a little bit more detail.
Okay, so this is interesting. I said before, your new best friend is security. This is an extension of that. Your cyber disaster recovery has to not only deal with my site got hit by a comet, the normal stretch, but a piece of my environment. Everybody heard of that Spectrum meltdown, right? That's where, oh my God, you guys aren't technical at all. So for those of you who didn't know, Intel put out a processor and wanted it really, really fast. And so I want all these VMs to share this cache on this processor. And then there's an exploit. And everybody's passwords from different VMs can now be seen on this processor. This is just Google. This is, you could look this up. So we are all freaking out, I mean, right? We're like, oh my God, how do we fix this? Every single processor that's been made in the last 10 years is vulnerable. Yep, that's it.
There you go. So,
is that a disaster? If my service provider says, puts out a patch, like Amazon rolled out a patch, and their performance was down like 400%, and they had to roll it back, if you were part of that whole mess. What happens when that causes a disaster? Can you move to another provider? Are they using a different chip? Did you see it coming? Is there really an exploit? Well, a lot of times we panic over these things. This is where you talk to your security. How many people in the wild have actually been impacted by these really scary monsters that are out there? Oh, there's a bug in Microsoft, and if you can put 1,000 zeros in your web browser, you'll crash the machine. It wasn't me who crashed Amazon 15 years ago saying if that was true. It's not me. It's just a coincidence that a bunch of us went down that day. So, but how many have actually been out there? How many have exploited? So that's why you have to work with your security person to develop this posture, to develop this proactive threat. They know what's going on. They have these tools. If they don't have these tools, then you might want to say to them, hey, how am I going to prepare this environment for resiliency if you're not aware of what's going on? Continuous monitoring. It's no longer wait for it to happen. It is, this is what's going on, this is a problem, and this impacts my business. Coordinating your recovery. Okay, this is the part, as a technician, I just love this. So I had a problem in the cloud, with a little drawing up there. I got a problem on my on-prem, and I'm talking to my B2B. How do I coordinate this? What if they've upgraded to defend themselves? It requires me to upgrade. And then how do we roll this whole thing back? What's a coordinated recovery? Have you talked to all of your vendors that touch your environment? These are the conversations you need to have, because you have to inform the business of the risks that they're in. And look, this is not, let me scare you into doing stuff. This is, you really need to think about this and have a plan. A plan may very well be, hey, you know what, as long as we're dealing with this business over here, and they're pushing us to the next version, we have plenty of providers out there to do SAP as a service, right, on your ERP. They're setting the standards on what level you're going to be at. You don't get a say. You need to be aware of that.
Okay, and then, near our again, safeguarding the business recovery objectives, the synchronization for the target environment, cloud, some of the cloud storage devices may not be similar to what you're doing in production. So the synchronization, how you do it, is it replication-based, hardware-based, is it software-based, and so forth. That all needs to be considered so your data is there and it's at the point that you need it to be. Data replication, like I said, for recovery objectives, the choice that you make, is it a replication, is it a backup, or is it something else? And how you do that, you have to plan for that. Testing, the key in the testing is zero impact production. Every time I say that, I say, state the obvious, look at the obvious. But a lot of folks, some folks, I shouldn't say some folks, you'd be amazed that still use a replicated copy to test with, and then try to resync it after the test is over. And exposing themselves in the time that they're testing on top of all extra work versus just putting up another little bit more storage, making a flash out and using it. And then finally, the reliance on the manual processes. It's getting to the point where, with the timings from a recovery time objective, bringing things back up online, and the complexity and the number of systems and the volume of data, manual processes are getting a little bit more difficult to keep in place.
Yeah, so this is my storage badge. Storage companies used to, we're going to replicate it. We're block load. Block load is not application. What does that mean? Oh my God, it's crashing the system. What does that mean? It means it's no different if I unplug my box, right? Yeah, that stuff's starting to matter a lot. So it's no longer the storage vendor just wants to sell you all of these new things. You really need to understand that if I'm going to recover quickly, if I'm going to test against it. I did work with with somebody after the crash. And there was a chain of custody issues. Every time they looked at something, they had to spin off a full copy. And it has to be an application-aware copy. Because if you're redoing your logs, this plays hand in hand with this manual. I'm going to call Jim, and he's going to replay my logs against my database. And 4 hours later, it's good, bring it back up. You can't do that anymore. And there has to be a hard conversation probably with some of the operations folks. Jim can no longer keep his scripts. They're going to have to go into some sort of orchestration. This is going to have to be, because it's everywhere now. It's not just in my on-prem. You know, that was hard enough. It's a tough sell to do resiliency. It's a tough sell to get the operations people to keep those runbooks up to date. Everybody's been through it. When you do the disaster recovery patch, issues arise. It's even harder. Again, if you're Lyft and you go down, and you're Uber and you don't, and you just lost 100,000 users, I just gained 100,000 users. And they're not going to go back until Uber has a problem and pushes those people back. Increased storage speed, replication, you don't know when you were infected. So if you're running data fixes, you may have to spin up multiple copies of that data. Coordinated testing with continuous replication. You should have somebody running a test. Don't think semi-annually anymore. Don't think annually. Think randomized testing. I should be able to go into my database, pull a point-in-time copy out of that database, and take a look at it and verify it, and know that it's good. Point in time. Randomly. Automation management, we touched on this. You really need to stress to your counterparts the time of relying on an individual. I'll tell you a secret of technology. Don't tell anybody I told you this until all hate me. A script can be a series of command lines that I've run 100 times, right? So, vSpace path equals DEV, open param, device address offline, blah, blah, blah. I ran a mainframe a long time too. If I take that command and I put it, call it a script, this is my script. No, this is not my script. The company paid me to take that command, create that command, and I need to put this in my automation tool. It's going to run when I fail over. It's not your script. No offense, it's the 21st century. You have to have that conversation with these people.
So, some key takeaways. We've got about 8 minutes left here. I want to run through these key takeaways, and then obviously I'm hoping there's some questions. First of all, I think business results need to be the driver. The reason why you're moving to cloud, and the reason why you're building resiliency to support that move to cloud is for business reasons. And the example I gave you with the large financial firm, they went to cloud, and they found out that they might have missed a couple of business requirements, business needs. So it's key to start there, and then drive that into your resiliency program as you move forward.
So as we try to drive this home, this is about it's hard enough with one data center. When you start adding in all these connections, these clouds, and 94% of everybody's in this boat. You need to be aware, you need to be informed, you need to be plugged in.
From an integrated planning, I think we kind of beat that. We beat that pretty good. It's integrated into the cloud strategy. It's integrated into the security. It's integrated into the automation and the orchestration that you're going to use. And it needs to be integrated, obviously, all pulled back with resiliency kind of being within that fabric, and then be able to get to the place where I've got a cloud deployment that is resilient.
Scalability, capacity, again, I shot it on a random test. You know, it's gotten down to the point where now where you can even scale up a box on top and get paid by the second. So scale up 1,000 servers as part of your test for 10 seconds, keep the price down, get it over. Find out if you can really do that. Find out how long it's going to take. You may have one image server, and now that one image server is trying to deploy 1,000 VMs. Well, maybe that's your bottleneck. With your operations folks and have them figure out how many image servers they really need to support a massive growth in your environment.
And then finally, when you're searching for a vendor and an environment to actually deploy to, remember that it's a two-part equation. It's a two-part equation in the sense that you're moving there for cloud benefits, but you also have to ensure that the resiliency of your business is tied to those cloud benefits to give you an end-to-end complete total solution. Thank you for your time. Appreciate that. Is there? We've got a few minutes. Are there any easy questions or hard questions? Yes, sir.
Why do you ask questions of provider if it oversold their services?
The question is, how do you ask a provider if they've oversold their services? I think just from what I've seen, what they're going to tell you on the services we've got. So that's where we keep pointing back to service levels. More importantly, I think the best way to test that is an unannounced DR test with full capacity. You move an unannounced test with full capacity and say, okay, and I need that Skype and RTO in 4 hours. You need to spin up 10,000 DMs or whatever it is for me in that 4-hour time frame. I think it's a combination of making sure you understand the service levels and then validating and testing the service levels. You're always going to get the answer, well, okay. I'm guessing you're always going to get the answer, well, okay. Oh, okay. Well, this is one of these millennials sneaking up on me over here. Says, can you elaborate on how you would leverage a smaller cloud provider? Is that content or compute infrastructure or both?
It could be any. I've seen cloud providers which I was really surprised. They had major clients. They were small. They were doing SAP as a service up in DC. They had a data center at National, and they had an ER somewhere out somewhere in the middle of the country. So you can do whatever you want to do. Some people prefer small vendors. Maybe not little fish in a very large ocean.
Any global questions? People questions? All right, second question. Is it reasonable to believe that if the entire region failed in AWS, that there would be enough resources available for everyone in another region? How to design? I don't think I'm qualified to answer on behalf of AWS. I would venture to guess that if the entire region failed, they would be a couple things. And this is where I go back to using a vendor. They've got two sides of the coin here. If the region failed, they've got all the production users that they have to relocate and do something with. And if they've got DR contracts, they've got all the DR contracts that they have to do something with. So, I mean, the question there very well may be, what's the prioritization? Who goes first? And who comes first? How does that work? And then, again, back to our former subscription model. First come, first served. Declare your in, declare your weight, and so forth. So I'm not at liberty.
Yeah, I would add in, I'm not going to say anything bad about AWS. Nobody knows what's going to happen for hurricanes in the DC area. It takes our whole region. I couldn't mention that. I know one thing, I live there, and I'm not going to be giving you any advice. Just take care of my family, right? And then there's some assurances of the largest provider out there. Without being able to really tell you what happened there. That would truly be.
Next question, what is the biggest risk to the public cloud, and what do we need to have in place to better position ourselves? From what I have seen and from what I've read, security is always the top item on the list. You have to realize that you're talking a multi-tenant environment, so you're potentially sharing resources with other clients. And I'm sure they acquire them off, and they have firewalls and things that they do to try to keep them all separated. But for me, I think the number one risk there would be security.
Yeah, I think planning. I mean, like, we give several examples. The person who's out there and says, where's my resiliency? I don't know. So, to me, the biggest threat is internal. People say, I'm going to move to the cloud. Why? I don't know. I'm just going to do it. It sounds cool. Right? Like Kubernetes. We're moving to the cloud. Okay. So the biggest risk is not planning.
And finally, how do we get players like AWS and GCP to test and provide us the confidence we need to ensure they are resilient? I mean, that's, it's just what we ask. That's the challenge. This is what I signed up for. This is what I need to see. And I had a client, not on the cloud side, just on a regular conversation the vendor was giving them subscription resources within an hour. And if any of you have been around a while, you know that there's usually a time lag for each subscription resources. If you want within an hour, you pay more. You pay a premium to get dedicated resources to guarantee you have that. And I called them and I said, okay, well, is it in your contract that you get them within an hour? I said, no, every time we test, they provide it to us within an hour. And I said, sure they do, because they've got forewarning to say we're coming in, we're going to test, come be ready for it. I said, why don't you try giving them a call tomorrow and say, I need these resources in an hour, and see if they're there. I guarantee they're not going to be there. So similar here, similar to here, the only way you're really going to do that is to be able to put them to task and test them on that in scenarios like that. It says, hey, this is what it says you're going to do. This is what I'm expecting. Here's an unannounced test. Show what you've done.
Yeah, keep in mind, they're not on the right. First of all, to be clear, they have world-class data centers. These are super redundant. They're no different than ours. They're best of breed. I'm not going to say that you stick it out there and you're at risk. They're not on the hook for resiliency. You are. It's your plan. That's the risk. So what are they going to prove to you? You have to prove to your organization that your resiliency plan works in the cloud. Because AWS is going to say, I was up. We're going to say, we were up. It's your resiliency plan.
Okay, with that, my head still hurts. Yours does not. It does. I advise 2 Tylenol and 1 this morning. So, thank you very much for your time.